Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about something more powerful than talent, more enduring than luck, and more essential than opportunity. It's the power of self-mastery. You see, success is not a secret, it's a system. And this system begins with mastering yourself, your mind, emotions, and your habits. The external results you desire are always a reflection of the internal discipline you develop. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner mastery. Everything you experience in life, your relationships, your finances, your health, and your level of success is simply a mirror of what is happening inside you. If there is chaos within, there will be chaos around you. If there is clarity, focus, and discipline within, your environment will eventually conform to match that internal state. The world does not bend to wishes or intentions alone. It bends to the energy, mindset, and habits you carry. The reality you see every day is not random. It is the result of your beliefs, your decisions, and your repeated actions over time. If you want to change what you see outside, you must first address what's happening inside. Every thought you think plants a seed in the soil of your mind. Some seeds grow into strength, courage, and vision, while others grow into fear, doubt, and limitation. The challenge is most people live unconsciously, letting their minds be overrun with weeds. They focus on what they cannot do, what they don't have, and who they are not. As a result, their lives reflect scarcity, struggle, and frustration. Inner mastery begins when you take responsibility for your thoughts. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can control how you interpret it and how you respond. They shift, and perspective changes everything because your responses determine your outcomes. Habits are another layer of this principle. A person who has mastered their inner world develops habits that align with their goals. They wake up with purpose, they guard their time, and they refuse to indulge distractions. The person who lacks inner mastery, however, will constantly be at the mercy of their feelings. They will do what is easy instead of what is necessary. They see the strength of them. Their outer life will reflect stagnation or decline. Mastery is not about controlling everything. It is about aligning your inner state so that the right actions flow naturally. When discipline becomes automatic, success becomes inevitable. Emotions play a critical role as well. A person who is mastered within does not allow anger, fear, or envy to run the show. They observe emotions, but they are not ruled by them. They choose peace over panic, focus over frustration, and courage over comfort. Over time, this emotional resilience creates stability in their outer world. Relationships improve because they no longer react impulsively. Opportunities come because they radiate confidence and composure. Even challenges begin to feel different because they approach them with a mindset of solutions rather than complaints. Inner mastery also influences how you handle money and resource. Wealth flows to those who manage their current resources wisely, not those who simply wish for more. A person who has mastered their inner world does not squander what they have. They operate from stewardship rather than scarcity. This mental and emotional alignment create for financial growth because they are no longer driven by fear or desperation. Instead, they attract and multiply opportunities by showing they can handle responsibility at a higher level. The outer world you live in today, your successes, your struggles, your breakthroughs, and your setbacks did not happen by accident. They are the cumulative result of years of beliefs, emotions, and actions. Some people will resist this truth because it demands accountability, but the reality is liberating. If you created your current reality, you also have the power to create a new one. This begins not by trying harder in the external world, but by transforming your internal state. True power comes from within, and the outer world will always rise to meet the level of your inner mastery. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner mastery. Everything you experience in life, your relationships, your fine health, and your level of success is simply a mirror of what is happening inside you. If there is chaos within, will be chaos around you. If there is clarity, focus, and discipline within, your environment will eventually conform to match that internal state. The world does not bend to wishes or intentions alone. It bends to the energy, mindset, and habits you carry. The reality you see every day is not random. It is the result of your beliefs, your decisions, and your repeated actions over time. If you want to change what you see outside, you must first address what's happening inside. Every thought you think plants a seed in the soil of your mind. Some seeds grow into courage and vision, while others grow into fear, doubt, and limitation. The challenge is most people live unconsciously, letting their minds be overrun with weeds. They focus on what they cannot do, what they don't have, and who they are not. As a result, their lives reflect scarcity, struggle, and frustration. The strength of the inner mastery begins when you take responsibility for your thoughts. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can control how you interpret it and how you respond. They shift, and perspective changes everything because your responses determine your outcomes. Habits are another layer of this principle. A person who has mastered their inner world develops habits that align with their goals. They wake up with purpose, they guard their time, and they refuse to indulge distractions. The person who lacks inner mastery, however, will constantly be at the mercy of their feelings. They will do what is easy instead of what is necessary, and their outer life will reflect stagnation or decline. Mastery is not about controlling everything. It is about aligning your inner state so that the right actions flow naturally. When discipline becomes automatic, success becomes inevitable. Emotions play a critical role as well. A person who is mastered within does not allow anger, fear, or envy to run the show. They observe emotions, but they are not ruled by them. They choose peace over panic, focus over frustration, and courage over comfort. Over time, this emotional resilience creates stability in their outer world. Relationships improve because they no longer react impulsively. Opportunities come because they radiate confidence and composure. Even challenges begin to feel different because they approach them with a mindset of solutions rather than complaints. The inner mastery also influences how you handle money and resources. Wealth flows to those who manage their current resources wisely, not those who simply wish for more. A person who has mastered their inner world does not squander what they have. They operate from stewardship rather than scarcity. This mental and emotional alignment creates room for financial growth because they are no longer driven by fear or desperation. Instead, they attract and multiply opportunities by showing they can handle responsibility at a higher level. The outer world you live in today, your successes, your struggles, your breakthroughs, and your setbacks did not happen by accident. They are the cumulative result years of thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and actions. Some people will resist this truth because it demands accountability, but the reality is liberating. If you created your current reality, you also have the power to create a new one. This begins not by trying harder in the external world, but by transforming your internal state. True power comes from within, and the outer world will always rise to meet the level of your inner mastery. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner mastery. Everything you see and experience in your life right now, your relationships, your finances, your career health, is a mirror image of what's happening within you. The world you move through every day is not random. It is shaped by your thoughts and your emotions. If there is confusion, fear, or consistency within, that same confusion, fear, and inconsistency will show up in your external results. If there is discipline, clarity, and belief within, those qualities will manifest themselves in your achievements and your environment. You cannot expect your circumstances to change until you change the patterns that created them. Every thought that dominates your mind acts like a seed planted in the soil of your future. Empowering thoughts will eventually grow into strength, courage, and success. Negative, limiting thoughts will grow into frustration, fear, and stagnation. The problem is that most people live unconsciously, letting their minds drift without direction, allowing weeds of doubt and negativity to overrun their mental garden. They focus on what they lack, what they fear, and what they believe is impossible. This inner landscape creates outer experiences that match those low expectations. But once you recognize the connection, you have the power to uproot those weeds and deliberately plant seeds of confidence, vision, and purpose. Self-mastery requires that you take complete responsibility for your inner world. You may not control every situation you face, but you always control your response. That response determines the trajectory of your life. When challenges come, will you react in panic, or will you respond with faith and strategy? When opportunities appear, will you shrink back in fear, or will you step forward boldly? These choices are determined not in the heat of the moment, but in the discipline you build every single day. Habits are the proof of inner mastery. A person strong within does not wait for motivation to act. They wake up with purpose. They protect their focus. They say no to distractions and yes to priorities that move them forward. They understand that mastery is not about controlling the external world, but aligning their internal state so that the right actions flow effortlessly. They don't fight their feelings every day because they have trained themselves to act regardless of emotion. Discipline becomes automatic, and as discipline grows, success follows. Emotions also play a crucial role in this equation. Someone who has mastered themselves does not allow fear, anger, or envy to run their life. They feel emotions, but they are not controlled by them. They remain calm in chaos, patient in delay, and confident in uncertainty. This emotional stability attracts people, opportunities, and solutions. Relationships improve because they respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Challenges lose their power to overwhelm because they approach problems with a mindset of solutions, not complaints. Even wealth is tied to this principle. A person who has developed inner mastery will handle their resources with wisdom and discipline. They won't waste or mismanage what they have because they operate from a mindset of stewardship instead of scarcity. Money and opportunities naturally flow to those who have shown they can manage what's already in their hands. Wealth amplifies the character of the person holding it, which is why inner mastery is critical before outer abundance arrives. The life you are living right now is not an accident. It is the cumulative result of years of thoughts, emotions, and habits. This realization can feel uncomfortable because it forces you to take responsibility. But it is also empowering because it means you are not a victim of circumstances. If you created your current reality through who you've been, you can create a new reality through who you decide to become. And the outer world will always rise or fall to meet the level of your inner mastery. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. It is the invisible thread that connects where you are right now to where you want to be. Many people have desires. They dream of financial freedom, vibrant health, strong relationships, and a life of significance. But desire alone has no power to deliver results. Desire without discipline is like a car without fuel. It looks promising but goes nowhere. Discipline is the fuel that moves you forward step by step through the process of transformation. It is the commitment to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It is the decision to prioritize long-term gains over short-term comfort and to act in alignment with your goals regardless of circumstances or emotions. Every person who has achieved greatness has done so not because they always felt inspired, but because they built the muscle of discipline. Feelings are fleeting. Motivation comes and goes like the wind. But discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady even when the storm of doubt, fear, or fatigue tries to blow you off course. Discipline transforms good intentions into tangible results. It converts knowledge into applied wisdom. It takes the vision in your mind and translates it into action that produces fruit in the real world. At its core, discipline is about mastering your habits. Your habits are the systems that govern your daily life. They determine what you do consistently, and consistency is the key to progress. Small, disciplined actions compounded over time create massive outcomes. Success does not come from a single dramatic effort, but from ordinary actions done consistently over months and years. Waking up early, reading daily, investing in your skills, exercising your body, managing your finances wisely. These are not glamorous acts, but they are the bricks that build the house of your destiny. Without discipline, these bricks are never laid, and your dreams remain architectural drawings in your mind with no structure in reality. Discipline also demands that you confront the voice within that craves ease and instant gratification. This is the part of you that whispers, skip the workout, you deserve a rest, or why save and invest when you could enjoy life now, or it's too hard to keep going, maybe this isn't for you. Discipline allows you to recognize these voices for what they are, obstacles to your future, and to respond with action that serves your higher purpose rather than your momentary comfort. It is the practice of saying no to what feels good in the moment so you can say yes to what feels great in the long run. True discipline is not punishment. It is not about depriving yourself. It is about aligning your actions with your vision. When you are disciplined, you take control of your life instead of being controlled by circumstances or impulses. You decide how your time is spent, how your energy is invested, and how your resources are used. You become proactive instead of reactive, intentional instead of accidental. Discipline gives you the power to build momentum, and momentum makes hard things feel easier over time. What once required tremendous effort eventually becomes second nature because discipline turns into habit, and habit shapes identity. The relationship between discipline and destiny cannot be overstated. Every day, every decision, every small act of self-control moves you either closer to or further away from the life you want. Discipline closes the gap between wishing and achieving, between dreaming and doing, between potential and fulfillment. It is not easy, and it was never meant to be easy, but it is simple. Decide what you want, determine what it requires, and then do it consistently whether you feel like it or not. Those who master discipline master their future because they are willing to pay today the price for what they will hold tomorrow. Increase your value to multiply your income and impact. The marketplace does not pay for time, it pays for value. This is why two people can work the same number of hours, yet one earns a little and the other earns a fortune. It is not the clock that determines your worth, it is the contribution you bring to the table. When you focus on increasing your value, you begin to shift from a mindset of trading hours for dollars to a mindset of creating solutions that others are willing to pay for at a higher level. Value is determined by the size of the problems you solve, the uniqueness of the skills you offer, and the level of excellence you bring to everything you do. The person who learns to solve bigger problems for more people will always have more influence, more opportunities, and more financial reward than the one who settles for doing only what is easy or comfortable. Value starts with personal growth. You cannot give what you do not have. If you want to multiply your value in the world, you must first multiply your knowledge, your mindset, and your capabilities. This means becoming a student of your craft, refining your skills, and expanding your capacity to think critically and creatively. The more you grow, the more you can offer. People do not pay for effort alone, they pay for results. When you increase the quality of the results you can deliver, you separate yourself from the crowd and position yourself for greater reward. Excellence is magnetic because most people are content with average. When you refuse to be average, you stand out in any field. Value is also created by how you serve others. The person who enters every relationship and opportunity asking, what can I give? Instead of what can I get, will always rise faster and further. Serving others with integrity, care, and excellence builds trust and opens doors that talent alone cannot open. The law of sowing and reaping is always at work. When you sow value into the lives of others, value inevitably comes back to you in unexpected and multiplied ways. Every act of service, every solution offered, and every moment of going the extra mile becomes an investment in your future impact and income. Innovation plays a key role in increasing value, the ability to see opportunities others overlook, to create solutions others have not thought of, And to adapt to change quickly elevates your worth in any environment. The world rewards those who bring fresh ideas and approaches. Stagnation is the enemy of value. If you keep doing what you have always done, at the same level you have always done it, your value will eventually diminish because the world keeps moving forward. To remain valuable, you must keep evolving. This requires humility to learn, courage to experiment, and persistence to refine your ideas until they produce the desired results. Communication is another multiplier of value. You could be highly skilled and intelligent, but if you cannot articulate your ideas, inspire others, and build relationships, your value remains hidden. The ability to communicate effectively makes your skills visible and your impact scalable. Whether it is through speaking, writing, teaching, or leading, those who master communication multiply their influence and create greater opportunities for themselves and those around them. People want to follow and invest in those who can cast a clear vision and help them see the possibilities for their own lives. In the end, value is not determined by you, it is determined by the people you serve. The question to ask is not, how can I make more money? But how can I become so valuable that people want to reward me generously for what I provide? The answer lies in growth, service, innovation, and excellence. Every skill you develop, every problem you solve, and every life you impact adds to the value you carry into the marketplace and the world. Leverage systems and relationships to scale your success. Success is not simply the result of working harder, it is the result of working smarter and building structures that multiply your efforts. Systems are the invisible engines that allow ordinary people to produce extraordinary results. Without systems, success becomes random and inconsistent because it depends entirely on memory, energy, or willpower. Systems create predictability, efficiency, and scalability. They turn complex processes into simple routines and allow you to achieve more in less time with fewer mistakes. Whether it's in business, personal finance, health, or relationships, those who design and follow effective systems rise above those who rely only on motivation or talent. A system is simply a repeatable process designed to produce a desired outcome. It removes decision fatigue by making success automatic rather than optional. For example, a financial system that automatically allocates income into savings, investments, and expenses ensures that wealth is built consistently without requiring constant willpower. A productivity system that organizes tasks and prioritizes them daily ensures that energy is focused on what matters most rather than being scattered across distractions. When systems are in place, success is no longer tied to how you feel on any given day because the process works regardless of emotion. Relationships are equally critical because no one succeeds alone. The quality of your relationships determines the quality of your opportunities. People open doors, share knowledge, and create connections that you could never access on your own. Strategic relationships multiply your reach and accelerate your growth. This is why it is said that your network is your net worth. Surrounding yourself with people who are ahead of you in mindset, skill, and achievement pulls you upward. These relationships challenge your limitations, expose you to new ways of thinking, and inspire you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. On the other hand, relationships with those who doubt, discourage, or distract you can anchor you to mediocrity. Leveraging relationships requires that you add value first. People are drawn to those who bring solutions, encouragement, and excellence into their lives. When you focus on contributing rather than consuming, you create bonds of trust and respect. Over time, these bonds compound into partnerships, mentorships, and collaborations that open doors you could never force open by yourself. Influence flows to those who serve generously and consistently. The more value you bring into your relationships, the more value will flow back to you in unexpected and multiplied ways. When systems and relationships are combined, the result is exponential growth. Systems allow you to scale your efforts without burning out, and relationships expand your influence into places you could not reach alone. Together, they create leverage, and leverage is the secret to multiplying results. One person with effective systems and strong alliances can achieve what would take 10 times the effort if working in isolation without structure. This is why some people seem to achieve effortlessly while others struggle endlessly. Despite working hard, many people resist building systems because it requires initial thought and effort to create. They also neglect relationships because they believe independence is a virtue. But independence without interdependence leads to stagnation. Success requires both personal responsibility and the humility to collaborate. Systems and relationships are not shortcuts. They are multipliers that honor the effort you have already invested by increasing its reach and impact. Leverage is about positioning yourself so that your time, energy, and resources produce the greatest possible return. Instead of doing everything yourself, you create processes and partnerships that allow your vision to grow beyond your personal capacity. This shift moves you from being a laborer in your own life to being the architect of a life that works, even when you are not present. Systems keep success consistent, and relationships make it sustainable and expandable. Together, they form the infrastructure for any lasting achievement. Wealth is created by principles, not by luck or labor alone. Many people believe that working harder or waiting for the right opportunity will make them wealthy, but the truth is that wealth follows specific principles that must be understood and applied consistently. Principles are universal laws that govern outcomes, and when you align with them, results become inevitable. When you violate them, struggle becomes unavoidable no matter how much effort you put forth. Wealth is not simply about earning more money. It is about learning and living by the laws that govern how money flows, grows, and multiplies. One of the most critical principles is the law of value creation. Money is an exchange for value, and the more value you provide to others, the more money you will attract. People who focus solely on making money often find themselves chasing it endlessly because they are not focusing on solving meaningful problems for others. The marketplace rewards those who think in terms of contribution. If you solve bigger problems for more people, your income will grow proportionally. The size of your wealth will always reflect the size of the problems you are willing and able to solve. Another principle is stewardship. Wealth flows to those who manage resources wisely. Many people pray for financial increase while mismanaging what they already have. They spend impulsively, saving consistently, and invest without understanding. Wealth cannot stay in the hands of someone who lacks the discipline to handle it. Stewardship requires that you control your money rather than letting money control you. It requires budgeting, saving, investing, and resisting the urge to consume more than you produce. Wealthy people do not become wealthy by accident. They build habits of stewardship long before abundance arrives, and those habits ensure that when increase comes, it stays and grows. The principle of multiplication is equally important. Saving money is not enough. Money must be multiplied through wise investment. This requires financial education because ignorance about money is one of the greatest obstacles to wealth. Without knowledge, people are easily deceived by scams, driven by fear during market downturns, or paralyzed by indecision when opportunities arise. Learning how to make money work for you is a non-negotiable step in wealth creation. The wealthy understand the power of compounding, passive income, and building assets that produce cash flow even when they are not working. They prioritize ownership over consumption and invest in vehicles that appreciate in value rather than liabilities that depreciate. Mindset is the foundation of all wealth principles. A poverty mindset focuses on limitation, fear, and scarcity. It asks, what if I lose? Or what if it doesn't work? A wealth mindset focuses on abundance, opportunity, and solutions. It asks, how can I create more? And who can I serve at a higher level? The inner belief system you carry about money will either attract it or repel it. Those who see money as evil, scarce, or hard to obtain subconsciously sabotage their ability to acquire and grow it. Those who see money as a tool for impact, freedom, and stewardship attract opportunities to create and multiply it. Association is another wealth principle that cannot be overlooked. Who you spend time with shapes your financial trajectory. If you are surrounded by people who live paycheck to paycheck, complain about money, and mock the idea of financial discipline, their influence will pull you toward the same patterns. If you intentionally align with people who think bigger, invest wisely, and operate with financial integrity, their influence will expand your mindset and raise your standards. Wealth is often caught as much as it is taught, and being in the right environment accelerates your learning and application of the principles that create it. Time is the final principle in the wealth equation. Wealth is not built overnight. It is the result of consistent application of principles over time. Many people want quick results, but anything obtained quickly is often lost quickly because the person lacks the internal structure to sustain it. Building wealth requires patience, persistence, and trust in the process. It requires choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure and committing to the habits that compound over years into financial freedom and legacy. Faith and belief shape the limits of what you can achieve. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every result you experience is influenced by what you believe to be true about yourself, about others, and about the world around you. Belief is the unseen force that determines how far you will go in life. It acts as a ceiling or as a catalyst. If you believe you are capable, worthy, and equipped to succeed, you will act boldly, persist through challenges, and create opportunities where others see obstacles. If you believe you are limited, unlucky, or unworthy, you will hesitate, shrink back, and sabotage your own progress without even realizing it. Faith begins with seeing possibilities beyond your current reality. Most people live trapped in the evidence of what they see, hear, and feel in the moment. They allow their circumstances to define their capacity, but faith requires that you see with inner vision, not just outer sight. It means believing in the unseen potential within you and trusting that your consistent efforts, aligned with the right principles, will eventually produce the results you desire. Faith gives you the courage to take action when there are no guarantees and to persevere when the results are not immediate. Your belief system is shaped over time by experiences, words spoken over you, and the environment you are exposed to. If you were told repeatedly that success is for other people, that life is hard, or that you are not enough, those words may have planted seeds of limitation in your mind. Those seeds grow into self-doubt, fear, and hesitation. To break free from those limitations, you must intentionally plant new seeds of possibility. This requires renewing your mind daily with empowering thoughts, words, and affirmations that align with where you want to go instead of where you have been. Faith is not passive. It is not simply hoping things will change or wishing for a better life. Faith is active. It is demonstrated in the decisions you make and the actions you take, even when circumstances seem unfavorable. Every time you step forward, despite fear, you strengthen your faith. Every time you invest in your growth, develop your skills, And pursue your vision, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of more. Faith grows with use, just like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes, and the stronger it becomes, the larger the vision you can carry, and the greater the challenges you can overcome. Belief also determines the quality of your persistence. Challenges are inevitable on the path to success. There will be moments when everything in you wants to quit, when results are delayed, and when setbacks make you question whether the effort is worth it. In these moments, what you believe will either keep you moving forward or cause you to give up. Those who believe that failure is final will retreat at the first sign of difficulty. Those who believe that failure is feedback will learn, adjust, and keep going until they succeed. The difference between those who quit and those who win is often not talent, resources, or opportunity, but the level of belief they carry in their hearts. Faith and belief also influence your ability to take risks. Growth requires stepping into the unknown and leaving behind the safety of what is familiar. Without belief, fear will keep you stuck in comfort zones that feel safe but ultimately limit your potential. With belief, you gain the courage to embrace uncertainty, knowing that the greatest rewards are on the other side of fear. You begin to trust in your ability to figure things out as you go, rather than needing every step of the path to be clear before you move. What you believe sets the thermostat for your life. You can never consistently outperform the image you hold of yourself in your mind. If you see yourself as a leader, you will lead. If you see yourself as wealthy, you will make decisions that align with building wealth. If you see yourself as a failure, you will unconsciously make choices that reinforce that identity. Changing your belief system changes your identity, and changing your identity changes your actions and outcomes.